A best interest attorney is an attorney that represents the child. Oftentimes, a court would appoint a best interest attorney when there are divorce cases that involve high conflict or there are allegations of child abuse. The court would typically appoint a best interest attorney. Now, if either party wanted the court to appoint a best interest attorney, you first would have to file a motion to appoint a best interest attorney, and the judge would have to either grant or deny that. And so I've had cases where the court granted the motion for a best interest attorney, and I've also had cases where the court denied the request for a best interest attorney, and that's probably because the court didn't believe that a best interest attorney was appropriate. And so I'll give you just some examples so that you can kind of see situations where a court may be more likely to appoint a best interest attorney versus when a court may not be likely to appoint a best interest attorney. So the case where the court denied the best interest attorney, there were no allegations of abuse of the child. There were some concerns of some parental alienation going on, just as far as like certain comments that were made to the child. But there was nothing to show that there were any like signs of like physical abuse or extreme emotional abuse or anything like that. And so the court denied that request. And so I've also had cases where the court did appoint best interest attorneys. And so the cases in which the court granted my request for a best interest attorney were situations when there was allegations of child abuse, when there was domestic violence between the parties, when there was, protective orders that were in place, when there was just like a lot of high conflict going on. The court was the court actually granted the request in those cases. And so that's just to give you an example, because sometimes, I definitely understand you may feel like, well, no, this other parent is doing X, Y, and Z to the child. They're not letting me see my child, or they're telling this child all these mean things about me. And so I want a best interest attorney to represent the child and to speak for the child, because a lot of people will say, well, they'll ask me, well, will the judge let the child speak? And I'll ask them, well, how old is the child? Well, the child is 8 years old, 9 years old. And I'll tell them, well, it's not likely that the court will talk to the child, but you can ask for a best interest attorney to be appointed for the child. And the role of the best interest attorney will be to, like I said, to represent the child, not necessarily advocate for the child's position. The best interest attorney has to do a full evaluation, a full investigation, and that's going to entail of them, talking to teachers, principals, pediatricians, therapists, any professionals that work directly with the child, the parents of the children, the child or the children. And so the best interest attorney will do that. And then at the trial, the best interest attorney will make a recommendation to the court. So hopefully that explained what a best interest attorney is. If you are in the state of Maryland and you would like to schedule a consultation to talk more about your specific situation, please feel free to reach out, and take care. Be blessed.